and a very warm welcome to the channel. I have got another American history video for you guys today. So this is which one of you very kindly sent me as a recommendation. It is from the Real Life Law channel, which I've never reacted to before. The video is called America Kinda Hates War, which admittedly doesn't tell me a huge amount. But accompanying it, I was told that first of all, it's predominantly about the Second World War, and secondly, it's vaguely in the style of oversimplified, or it's at least sort of done in a comic style. And if you can't joke about the most devastating war in human history, what can you joke about? That's what I say. So I think this will be really interesting. Please do. As usual, please do give a subscription if you haven't already. I also have a history-specific channel. I will put a link to that in the description. And let's watch the video. Let's go.
Ah, paradise. Time to enjoy my vacation.
Yeah. Seeing the issue.
There are still so many fine cheeses I could taste. What are you doing? I give up! Have mercy!
Yeah, fair enough.
It's that, my Axis friends, is how you defeat France. Are you allowed to just expand like this? Wherever you want? Superior Aryan race needs more living space. We call it Lebensraum. If I want it, I take it.
Although, in fairness, Japan didn't need the example of Nazi Germany, considering that half the Allied powers were also extremely imperialist. Obviously, the Soviet Union, the British and French empires, hints rather in the name. So whilst the Axis powers, I think, were definitely worse imperialist powers, there was a lot of imperialism on the Allied side as well.
I couldn't agree more. That's why I'm taking more land in North Africa. I will never admit defeat. But you are defeated, perhaps. But I will never admit it. So both of you are...
So, fun fact, in the Second World War, the French were forced to sign their surrender aboard exactly the same railway carriage that the German surrender was signed at the end of the First World War, as a kind of final fuck you.
Just taking more territory with no consequences. Interesting.
Yeah.
Just wait to tell my allies hear about this. America's going to kick your German derriere. In fact, I bet America is on his way right now. I don't feel like reading anymore. Hey, this is a private beach, you freeloader.
So obviously this is a really interesting time in American history, in particular for foreign policy, because after the First World War, I mean, the League of Nations was almost an American creation. It was President Woodrow Wilson which created it. It was a kind of a pre-runner to today's United Nations. But having created it and had the whole idea, America decided they wanted nothing to do with it. America became very isolationist. The American army was cut to a really, really small force in between the First and Second World Wars. Fortunately, America still had an absolutely enormous industrial base, which meant that they could rearm and re-equip very quickly when they needed to. But yeah, so the whole kind of the isolationist term between the two world wars is really interesting.
Did you read the sign?
No freeloaders, yeah.
Oh, it's you. Are you on vacation too? Pull up a chair, old buddy. I'm afraid not. Unfortunately, the war in Europe is Read the other side.
No, yeah.
Well, there's stuff happening in Europe, and that stuff is coming our way. As an ally and a friend, I need your help with that stuff. Listen, I know we've been pals in the past, but I'm an isolationist now.
I mean, it's worth very quickly mentioning also that at this point, Britain and America weren't that close friends. I mean, obviously they've been allies in the First World War, but there was a lot of tensions between the two in the 1930s, or at least quite a lot of tensions. The current sort of permanent alliance, as it seems, between America and Britain is really a Second World War onwards invention, and probably wouldn't have survived if the British had tried to hold on to their empire. Which fortunately they didn't, because it would have been, I mean, A, they probably would have lost, and B, it would have been horrible. I mean, they did in some countries, but generally they... Anyway, I'm going off tangent. Let's go back to the video.
I don't get involved in things that don't affect me. That makes you sound kind of like a selfish wanker. It's who I am now. After that big war and the other economic thing that was like really depressing. What was that called? The Great Depression? Yeah. After that stuff, I really just need to focus on myself.
I can understand the
Isolation is
thinking.
just a phase, but this friendship is forever. Please, Papa needs your help. Unless something affects me directly, I'm out. But are you interested in war? I told you I'm not interested in war. God! Bonjour! Where are you? How's our very good friend America? I tried to tell him about War Thunder, but he wouldn't listen. War Thunder? The most comprehensive vehicle combat game ever? Yes, it's this awesome game where you can play more than 2,000 tanks, planes, helicopters, and ships in dynamic, combined arms PvP battles. Can you really play it on PC, Xbox Series X and S,
Really hope the answer to this is no. That'd be by far the funniest answer.
and PlayStation 5?
Only play it on like a Nintendo 64.
Indeed, you can even customize the vehicle to your heart's content. Camouflages, paste historical markings, and even 3D decorators, bushes, and equipment. Damn! I also add the graphics and details. I have 4K resolution. Is this true? Oh, you bet. Even the sound effects and music are stellar. Hello? Friends? Shh. These fire and smoke effects got me completely immersed. I gotta get those decals!
I don't want a war game to be too immersive. Like, I don't want to stop playing it and find I got post-traumatic stress disorder. You want some level of realism, but not too much in your war games, I think.
You're missing out, America. UK? Who are you talking to? No one. Now, back to the video!
Yay!
Why can't I be like Germany? He doesn't have to worry about resources. He doesn't worry about borders. He can just expand. I'm a lame island that has to import everything. Why are you saying this now? Look at that tank. Have you tried making them out of a metal? We hardly have any metal. America has stopped importing me steel just because I'm friends with you and Germany. Isn't it because
It's worth mentioning. Hang on,
she's
this one.
been at war with China, invading parts of Southeast Asia, and just generally being super aggressive?
Yeah.
Minority
That's exactly the point I was going to make. So, I mean, Japan had been messing around in Manchuria, which is part of China, for quite a long time. The kind of the full-on invasion of China started in 1937, and it was incredibly savage. So it's kind of the infamous rape of Nanking, which is when the city fell to the Japanese forces, and just an almighty massacre. I mean, some people say the Second World War started in 1937, and you can definitely make an argument for that.
ambitions. I should be allowed to expand, just like everyone. And then just to do it, look at how strong you can be when you put your mind to it. If I do, America might cut me off even more supplies. It might even lead to war. Then attack first, me or amigo. Be an alpha ball. If there's one thing I know, it's that Germany is going to win this war. And they won't care how much you expand. Manifest your destiny.
So, and the irony of Italy telling Japan to strike first. So the attack on Pearl Harbor was partially inspired by an attack on the Italian fleet at Taranto, which is a city in Italy, but it's a port specifically. It was a British attack using, weirdly, things called swordfish biplanes. And it was a very small number of aircraft, incredibly successful, and the Japanese were taking notes, let's put it that way.
Be the best of Japan you can be. What the hell?
Phone call, sir. It's Britain.
How am I busy?
I did,
Yeah,
sir.
sort of,
But he
Britain.
insisted. Said it was very important.
What's so damn important?
For the Queen!
Pretty sure that should be for the king, given the time. Well, in fact, it would be given the king again within this time period, but I'm getting sidetracked.
Take that, you sonic crap hubba snatch! Good lord, what the hell is happening? And is hubba snatch a real word? Germany is attacking us like I said they would. We need your help, old chum. For realsies this time. Look, bro, I already told you.
I always find it hilarious how, like, in every film, British World War II fighter pilots have the most ridiculously posh accent you can imagine. Apparently, it's because basically in the kind of the post-war era, a whole bunch of war films were made, and they just got really posh actors to play the pilots, and they just stuck the assumption that any British pilot, was automatically really, really posh. But you know, it's an interesting sidetrack.
Your voice sounds so weird. I'm snorkeling. I'm on vacation. You've been on vacation for a bloody year. Ah! Golly, it's toastier than a toasted crumpet up in here. Ah! UK! UK, what's happening? Are you winning? I think I've won this battle, but I fear for the larger war, old chum. I need an ally, my friend. God damn it, fine.
Getting
Worn me
emotional.
down. You come fight with us. No, I'll do you one better. I'll send guns and tanks and ships.
So this is obviously Lend-Lease, which is where, I mean, America didn't directly enter the war, but Roosevelt was very pro-UK, very anti-Nazi Germany, and they did everything they could to help the UK short of entering the war. So huge amounts of supplies. I think they gave the British something like 50 old destroyers. Admittedly, it wasn't just a gift. It was, I mean, Britain was meant to pay back, and indeed did pay back for a lot of it after the war. And also Britain made various concessions. So, I mean, allowing America to use some of its bases as American bases. Well, I think some of them are still in use today. But it's kind of like what America's now doing for Ukraine. America being the arsenal of democracy, except that in Lend-Lease, America got quite a lot in return as well.
Wait, how is that better? Sorry, breaking up. I can't. Gotta go. It's just you making those sounds, isn't it?
No.
Are you sure this is a good idea, sir? Attacking America? We don't have a choice, brave pilots. They have cut us off from crucial supplies. But
It's worth mentioning that the Japanese decision to attack America was objectively moronic. I mean, Japan was nowhere near as strong as America on any metric, on population, on industrial base, on wealth. It was just a really, really dumb thing to do. I mean, like, to be honest, okay, please put in the comment section what your thoughts are on this, but I can't think of a peer opponent for America's force. So that's a country which is either as powerful as the United States or more powerful for America's fought since 1812, which was obviously the British Empire. I mean, obviously there's the Spanish-American War, but the Spanish Empire by that point was a basket case. There was the Mexican-American War, but the Mexican Empire, again, was very weak by that point. And to be honest, the Mexican Empire was never that strong. Obviously, in the Second World War, you've got Nazi Germany, Italy, and Japan, but none of them individually were anything like as strong as America. In terms of their economic output, in terms of anything. I mean, the Confederate States were way, way weaker than the Union States. The Soviet Union might be the closest you get if you count the Cold War, but even the Soviet Union was never on a peer of America. It was always substantially weaker in terms of its economy. So, ironically, if there's a conflict between America and China in, say, 10 years' time, it might be the first time America has faced a true peer adversary since 1812. I don't know, I'm just thinking aloud, but comment below on what you think about that. I think it's an interesting thought.
fear not. We have a spy amongst the Americans.
Ah.
The element of surprise will be ours. But won't this lead to all-out war? Yes, but their Pacific fleet will be in shambles. Oh, while they nurse themselves, we will rule the seas with the finest fleet. The finest fleet of... Okay, good talk, guys. Another, sir? I guess it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Fill me up. No, this is the life, I tell you. I think all vacation should be permanent. And I can help all my allies from the sidelines where I'm completely out of harm's way. Oh, yes, absolutely. No danger. Wait a second. Are you a fan of the Red Circles too? Oh, they're my favorite band. Yeah, big fan.
So what, was there a Japanese spy in Pearl Harbour in Hawaii? I've never actually heard. If this is like being taken literally, that's not something I was aware of. Would be interested to know.
I should really go take my fish for a walk. Bye! Take your what for a what now? We're under attack! with that?
Yeah, slight issue.
Guess my vacation's over. So much for being an isolationist. What happens now? Now, son, we go to war.
Yeah. So let's say America was so much stronger than Japan in terms of wealth and industrial base. Unless the Americans did something absolutely moronic or they gave up, I think America was always very likely to win the Pacific War.
We make
I mean, obviously, it would have been absolutely well. I mean, it was carnage, but it would have been horrific if the Allies had been forced to actually conquer Japan on the Japanese islands themselves.
stop at the hospital first. Right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Of course.
that's fair enough.
And that's why, chaps, I suggest we attack here at dawn. Agreed? Who's ready to kick some ass? I thought you were having an isolationist vacation. Nah.
So this is pretty much what happened. So there was a famous quote from Churchill when he heard about Pearl Harbour. He said, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was something like, "And now we have won the war," which is pretty much true because America was just by such a margin the most powerful country in the world at this point, or at least by a big enough margin that it was clearly going to make the difference.
I'm done with that. It's fighting time. Did something happen to make you change your mind? Yes, something happened. I reflected, like, a lot. You were right. We need to stop the Axis, and the only way to do it is together. But most importantly, I need to help an ally, a friend. If you still want to be friends, of course.
It's very emotional.
You're here because of the bloody Pearl Harbor attack, ain't you? Don't you judge me! Hey guys, I hope you liked the video.
So that was really interesting, educational and entertaining. What is very interesting is after the Pearl Harbor attack, the Americans agreed with what the British and the Soviets wanted to do, or Soviet Union, which was to focus on Germany and Italy first, and then worry about Japan. Obviously, the logical thing you might think would be America's been attacked by Japan, so therefore you go and crush Japan, which they did. But the first priority was Europe first, which Churchill pushed very heavily. But anyway, that's been really interesting. If you want me getting all history nerdy, I do have a history-specific reaction channel, so I will put a link to that in the description. I'll probably link it in the comments as well. But I hope you had a great day, hope you enjoy yourselves, and hope to see you for the next video. Thank you.